and they're so quick to work out what they've got to do to each delivery. Dixon's in, bowls to him. Here's a lovely cover drive, but straight to Nick Brown, or otherwise that would have been another one fetched back from the fence. That one's 90 for 5.
Yeah, doesn't seem to play too far away from his body. Nice and compact, as you can see with that technique, and is maybe something some of the other Indian batsmen could learn from, actually, is the way he keeps his shape and plays from within himself at times.
Well, we lost Shikhar Dhawan and Cheteshwar Pujara straight away this morning, and you did just wonder then, with the ball doing plenty to help the bowlers, whether Essex might be able to wheedle India out rather quickly. But of course, they've got such a strong batting lineup and 18 players that they can choose any of them from. So technically, as Don's been pointing out, we could have two very good batsmen at 10 and 11. So it was never going to happen that way. But it's been a thoroughly enthralling day's cricket.
Absolutely, plenty of runs scored so far, as well as some excellent bowling from the Essex boys.
Aaron Nijar recently into the attack at the river end, bowls the first ball, and Karthik plays the ball out to Brown, who's doing most of the fielding at the moment in the covers. 190 for 5. Nijar again, shirt outside trousers, comes in and bowls, and down the pitch from 4 runs, handsome shot, excellent use of the feet by Karthik, and I think Karthik's a fairly small guy, and that can actually help when you're playing spin, because your head is nice and close to the ball, and he was right over that, beautifully found the gap to the left of mid-off, and away it went. 194 for 5, he has 70.
Yeah, lovely shuffle, lovely quick step, and he managed to pierce the two fielders, as you mentioned, Nick Brown there at extra cover, and then you've got the man in mid-off, and he managed to split them beautifully and bisect them. So again, showing that use of just quick feet, really, being able to get out to the pitch quickly.
Does make such a difference if you're quick on your feet playing spin. And here's another ball from Nijar, forced off the back foot, but into the covers, no run. Score remaining 194 for 5. I think too many English players have tended to play spin from the crease, which means the attacking shots tend to be the sweep or the reverse sweep, and good to see a player play with a straight back and come down the pitch, use the feet, as Karthik does here, not in an aggressive way, but he works the angles nicely so that mid-wicket can't nip across in front of mid-on to prevent the single. It goes down to Wesley, who'd be about 40 yards from the bat, and the easiest of singles, and Karthik to 18, scores a 195 for 5. Slip on the back pad, and a shortish mid-wicket. Nijar, slow left arm round the wicket, bowls, and again played out to Nick Brown, this time by KL Rahul.
The Indians have shown that in limited overs cricket, the way they rotate stride, that's why they're so good at playing spin. They don't let the bowler bowl to them.
Yeah.
And they go out and attack them.
And the next delivery is just angled out to backward point.
One of the better England players, I think, is Joe Root of spin, and he's shown how you should play spin at home and abroad. And I think a lot of other English players have learned that, especially in the one-day format of the game. But what I found particularly interesting on this last tour when India came over, Moeen Ali really made a name for himself. Yes. He took a shed load of wickets against the Indians, where many thought that actually the Indians would target him. They ended up trying to target him and maybe getting a bit too ambitious and being a bit too overconfident maybe. And Moeen last time they were over here, the Indians, he took a lot of wickets. So it's not to say that the Indians are there to be got at. Maybe you could lay a few traps, get them to play that extra shot and entice a mistake out of them as well. So yeah, still an interesting battle, I think, when you get the Indian players facing spin as well.
Yeah, very much so. Well, that was the last ball of Nijar's over, a dot ball, so 195 for 5. Plenty of youngsters in the ground today, as you doubtless pick up from time to time. The effects might 32, and a very stylish 32 at that, to KL Rahul, 18 to Karthik. This partnership now worth 40, in fact 44. And Dixon in and bowls, and this ball is played away back towards the backward point boundary, and get the single. Karthik up to 19, 196 for 5 up on the board. Dixon bowling from the Hayes close end, 2 slips in, because there have been plenty of edges today that have gone into slips, not many of them caught, but 3 went down in the morning session. Catching's got a bit better in that department since lunch. Dixon again. To bowl to KL Rahul, and he leaves another one outside off stump. I was coming back, didn't miss the off stump by all that much, but batsman knew what he was doing. So 196 for 5, 55th over being bowled.
From a Essex point of view as well, some of these bowlers, I suppose, will be trying to put their hands up now and getting themselves ready for the next county championship game and saying, well, look, skipper, look, coach, maybe you should consider me. I bowled well against arguably one of the best batting lineups in world cricket. So
that's quite right, and of course they wouldn't mind getting a run out, some of them in the T20 as well, which resumes next Friday down at Taunton. Sorry, I've got that wrong actually. There is a game at Taunton next Friday, but before then, Canterbury on the Thursday. So many of the games are played on consecutive days. Here is Dixon in. Balls to Rahul, another lead outside off stump, 196 for 5.
That'd be good. Bit of tasty Essex-Kent, always
yeah.
fairly neighbourly rivalry.
That's right. In fact, the last game of the zonal tournament is the reverse fixture back here at Chelmsford on August the 17th, a Friday evening. And Friday evenings here are pretty lively at the best of times. So
that thrilling draw you had the other week was excellent. That was great from a few days ago.
Yeah, the tide match, that's right, against Hampshire. That was played on a Saturday, unusually. Not many are played on a Saturday evening here. And a great finish. So, after a little bit of a word with his skipper, Tom Wesley, Dixon returns to the top of his mark and comes in now past umpire Rob White. Bowls to Rahul, and it's the same result. 3 consecutive deliveries have been sufficiently wide of off stump for Rahul to pay no notice and score remaining 196 for 5.
I was looking at the Indian batting order, the likes of Hardik Pandya, Rishabh Pant as well, exciting young wicketkeeper batsman who is certainly making a name for himself in India. They're exciting players to watch, and Pandya himself as well. He prefers to clear the boundary rather than nurdle a single, so you can expect some fun when those two come out to bat eventually. Pant, one of the stars of the IPL in this current edition that we just had, and Hardik Pandya, he seems to be that sort of X-factor player. They're looking to sort of resemble, I suppose, Ben Stokes, if you want to compare him, and that's the hope they have for him to eventually be that match-winning all-rounder.
Here comes Dixon again, bowls, and this ball is played down to backward points. Third man runs round to do the fielding, single, 197 for 5. KL Rahul moves along to 33, and I think it's probably true to say, Anchor, that the IPL has speeded up Indian batting considerably. There's some wonderful players who would sort of play your typical traditional test match innings, but now there's a lot of new players coming through who don't hang about.
They don't, and that's the interesting thing about the IPL. It's made a lot of Indian cricketers multi-dimensional, multifaceted players, so they could step into any format of the game and be pretty comfortable. They can, I mean, Rishabh Pant, for example, young boy, 20, 21 years of age, already has a first-class triple century, yet he could go out there and hit 100 or 40 balls or 50 balls. So they've got a lot of dimensions to their game, and they've accelerated their learning process a lot quicker. And people like Rahul Dravid being the coach of the under-19s India A as well, having a mentor like that is invaluable, I imagine.
Next delivery from Dixon. Ooh, he flashed at this Karthik, and for a moment I thought he might even have just got the edge. He hasn't, you'll gather. He's on 19. Rahul has 33, 197 for 5. Now, we've been told T will definitely be at 340. But sometimes the word definitely can end up meaning perhaps or even not at all. But if it is at 340, this could well be one more over up for the break.
Haven't followed Indian cricket for some...
I think we're off. Yep. Yeah. Don't worry, I'll redial. Virat Kohli made a typically classy 68 and Murali Vijay scratchy 53. But apart from that, there hasn't been much else against some decent Essex bowling. KL Rahul is now at the crease, batting carefully on 33, like a man who knows a score will pull him into the centre. And sorry, we got interrupted there. Not quite sure what happened, but good to have you back with us now. You haven't missed anything at all, actually. Very well timed if we had to have an interruption. 197 for 5, and we're just about to see Aaron Nijar bowl his third over now, initially to KL Rahul with the slip and a short extra in. And here comes Nijar now and bowls, and the ball is just defended back down the pitch. I'm Paul Newton, and with me is Anchor Desai.
And we were just talking just a little while ago about the young plethora of options India have got, and I mean, someone like Rahul Dravid, invaluable experience, classical player, but he's just such a good mentor as well. He speaks so well about the game.
Nijar is in bowls, and this ball is played to backward point, no run. Indeed, I was hearing about this, and he's Rahul Dravid is very enthused by the quality of young players coming through in Indian cricket.
Yes, it's just a system that they've got in place now just facilitates that they end up getting the best talent from around the country.
Nijjar is in again, bowls. Decent ball. If there is any turn out there for Nijjar, it's very, very slow indeed and slight. 197 for 5.
Whereas in the past, there would be pockets of India where there'd be talent, but they wouldn't be tapped into. The story of MS Dhoni coming from a place like Ranchi out of nowhere just shows that they need to get to the far-flung corners of the country and just seek out the best talent. There used to be a lot of politics involved in Indian cricket.
Yes.
Maybe there still is, but in terms of who gets picked and from which state and, you know, etc., a lot of that is changing a lot now as well.
Nijjar again. Bowls to Rahul. Is very watchful now, possibly with the thought of the interval coming up on his mind, because he has been very positive hitherto in this innings.
Yeah, he want to make a score as well today to try and cement his place maybe at the top of that order. During the South Africa series, the last time India played away from home, they chopped and changed that top opening partnership a few times.
Nijjar again. Shorter, flatter delivery. Whipped off the pads, the mid-wicket boundary. Lovely little wristy shot there to bring up the 200 for India. 201 for 5. And Rahul on to 37. He probably heard me saying that he'd gone a little bit into his shell and said, no, I'm not waiting for tea, thank you very much. And helps himself to a handsome boundary.
Fantastic touch from Rahul. Just rocked back and just flicked it so nonchalantly. And you would have thought that if there was a fielder there, it'd be maybe a single, but he just managed to pierce everybody. Lovely.
Nijjar again bowls, and good use of the feet to come down the pitch and then play a defensive shot. And indeed, definitely was used in its
good call, Paul.
Original derivation today that it will be tea. The players leave the field. It's 201 for 5, 37 to KL Rahul, 19